Namaste, welcome everybody to In the Air on CricTracker. मेरा नाम है निवेदा प्रभु. Third test match इंडिया के लिए बहुत ही disappointing start रहा, but on the same note, of course, it is looking great for Team England. So we're going to discuss everything about that. We of course have our Professor Saab back in the studio. I'm talking about Pratyay Tiwari, who's of course a content creator joining us back. Pratyay, like I just mentioned, not a great start for Team India. But England is looking quite solid. Before we get, of course, into all the analysis, did you really expect it for that showdown to happen like the way it did?
Well, definitely not, because 78, one of the lowest scores, ninth lowest in India's history of Test cricket. No one could have expected that. And yes,
Yeah.
as you rightly said, it was absolutely England's day. There was nothing, absolutely nothing, apart from the toss, which was the only thing which was not going India's way, which is what went India's way. And apart from that, there was nothing that quite went India's way. And I think that if you ask Joe Root, right now he would be the happiest of all captains, because getting losing the toss and then being able to bundle out a side for 78, and then having the lead and two openers, and they are batting well set, and both of these men were people who were in need of runs. So this is actually very, very good. He himself has to come into bat, Joe Root. So I think that yes, in pole position England absolutely by the end of day one.
Yeah, they look quite strong, and I think that's quite surprising because the way India did win in the second Test match at Lords, a lot of comments whether India was looking overconfident. We'll get into aspects of that. But अगर आपको कुछ questions पूछना है प्रत्येक को, you want to have your own analysis of what went wrong for Team India, please put that in. But let's take a quick look at the scorecard as to where they ended on day one. Now, in terms of day one stumps, England leading by 42 runs, like Pratik pointed out, 78 which is the way we look at it. Of course, Anderson creating magic like the way he has 3 for 6. But on the other hand, if you're looking at where England stands right now, Hamid has of course capitalized on that second opportunity for himself. Pratyay?
Well, definitely. As I said, that both of these batsmen, because Hamid is coming back after a long time, 4-5 years of a gap, and then being able to do what he did. He did not have an ideal outing in the last match, so he had that pressure, and now he's opening as well. Last time he was not opening, so this time he's doing that. So he has taken that role to perfection, I think. And again, even for Roddy Burns, he has been in and out of form, not exactly in form batsman, but yes, he has looked pretty solid as well. And I think the biggest part and the happiest part for England would be not losing a wicket. So not only have they passed that 78 run mark, but they have also managed to get additional 42 runs. And this now, I think that you were talking about James Anderson. I feel that yes, as much as England bowled really well, when we were talking in the pre-show, when I said that I just had a look at BCCI's tweet and the pitch looks like a belter, it is exactly what England went on to prove with the bat. But with the ball, they were absolutely spot on. So much so that it was completely an opposite direction. It was not at all a belter. And as I said, that before lunch there was still some assistance for the bowlers. The ball was There was some zip in the wicket. The ball was moving around a little bit. But once the sun started beating down the track, once that baked down, and now it has seen a good 5-6 hours of sun, and it has really flattened out, because in the last two sessions there was absolutely nothing happening. There was a bit of turn for Jadeja, but apart from that, for the Pacers there was really nothing. So I think that probably it would have been maybe a good toss to lose. In the hindsight, that you can say India went on to win. We have been talking about how Virat Kohli has been losing the tosses, but if you look at it now, maybe it could have been a good toss to lose.
Yeah, I mean, that's always looking at the grass is greener on the other side coin, kind of, looking at it that way. But there are some optimistic fans who are saying India will definitely come back on day two. Well, we'll have to wait and watch, because kuch bhi ho sakta hai, right? At the end of the day. And we've also seen that happen in the Gabba test. So you also with this Indian team, there's so much of aggression and passion. You actually never know what's going to be happening. But having said that, let's take a quick look at what Team India's batting summary was like today. Quite a disastrous show. But if you could take a quick look at what that is looking like, I think the only person kind of who's of course added the highest is Rohit Sharma, 19 or 105 balls. Again, it really has come back to that talk of, at the end of the day, KL Rahul, Cheteshwar Pujara, Kohli and Rahane. Rahul, of course, did cement that opportunity the first time around. But again, it's a no-show from Pujara, Kohli and Rahane, Pratyay.
वेल एज यू सेड समरी जो होती है बहुत छोटी सी होती है, और ये बैटिंग लाइनअप जो आज इंडिया का था वो काफी छोटा सा ही है, क्योंकि देयर इज नथिंग, आई मीन व्हाट डू यू इवन लुक एट, जस्ट टू प्लेयर्स गेटिंग इनटू डबल डिजिट्स. So a very
Yeah,
shambolic performance indeed, and very disappointing as well. Each of the Indian fans, I'm pretty sure they would be very disappointed. And see, as you said, that this is what professional sport, and not just cricket, this is what professional sport teaches you. You can win by 151 runs the previous test match, defying many odds, but you come and on a fresh day. This is why we say that every day is a fresh day, and you come on a fresh
yeah,
day and you get bowled out for 78. Speaking of, I think, see, I won't be talking too much about KL Rahul, because he has been the man in form in the series. You can, I mean, one odd failure or one odd innings is fine to have, but I think that yes, the talks around Pujara, Kohli, Rahane, yes, they will resurface again, because Pujara and Rahane, I think it was very important for them to kind of build upon that momentum that they managed in at Lords, because they got
yeah.
a good score, 61 for Rahane, 45, 46 odd for Pujara. So I think that if they would
Also,
have
it's with,
managed to capitalize, yeah.
yeah, this statement, because sorry for interrupting you, about how Rahane was getting back at his critics, saying that it doesn't matter, and all those things. But the other side of it was, a lot of fans were talking about, well, then you should be performing if you feel like you have this opportunity, and over again to not be doing so. How do you view that? Because a lot of talk is about why Hanuma Vihari is not being given a chance.
See, we have even on our show discussed quite a few times that there is Hanuma Vihari, there's Surya Kumar Yadav, and would India really go on to drop these two men, Cheteshwar Pujara and Ajinkya Rahane? See, Ajinkya Rahane is also the vice captain of the side, and it is not
Yeah,
easy to drop these kind of players because they are very senior. No matter how much performance, yes, if it's really long, I think that, as I said, that time has kind of started to run out for them, but you still do not just simply go and drop people like Pujara and people like Rahane. So I think that this is one of the tougher calls that management would have to make if they continue disappointing the way they have. But I think that today the most of the dismissals that we saw, as I said, that James Anderson, when he was operating with the new ball, he was absolutely at his sensational best. And later on, Sam Curran chipping in, Craig Overton coming in, and Ollie Robinson as well. So it was a complete bowling performance. But I think that where India actually missed the trick today was that initial hour or so, because those three strikes, once Anderson removed Rahul, Pujara, and Kohli, after that it was a situation from where India never really came back. I mean, they were
back.
never in the game, and they were never able
Yeah,
to came back. So they never got going right from the very start. And if maybe they could have been maybe one partnership of say a 50 or 60 odd, they could have still maybe gotten close to 160, 170, 180 sort of a chance, and then they could have, because 78 is absolutely nothing, and that too we have
yeah,
not been able to take any wickets. Now the opposition is 42 ahead, so I think that completely on the back foot. But I think where India actually missed the trick was that tricky phase when there was a bit of cloud cover and the ball was doing a bit. There was a bit of zip in the pitch as well, which the England
right.
bowlers really used very well. So at that point of time, I think that if someone could have shown a bit of application, then it might have augured well in India's favor. But unfortunately, that was not the case, and England completely on top. And see, as I said, that when England came out to bat, two things that went in their favor was that sun had started to beat down, the track had become easy, and they batted and applied themselves really, really well. So they were not giving that chance. There was this odd chance that Rohit Sharma dropped in the slips of Hamid, but
Yeah.
that was a tough catch. But I think that yes, all the numbers, all the marks that you have to give are to England on today.
Right. I mean, I think, and things like that, those errors will be looked at with a magnifying glass, because of the fact that, of course, they were 78 all out. So anything now that they do will, only be looked at, closer. But having said that, like you just mentioned, that England were definitely the better team, at least on day one. Let's take a quick look at the bowling summary, because that's where, of course, the damages happen. No surprises for guessing. Anderson is the man who has created the magic, but Robinson as well, who's pretty much consistent. Overton, of course. So guessing that that was a good call by Captain Joe Root to be getting him in and getting that those changes for the third test. Then of course, looking at it, if the way it's going, if they have that strategy, even if they're looking to be aggressive, then no surprises for guessing. They might just win the third test match.
Well, I think that yes, Craig Overton, even he's coming back after a long time. The last he played was, I guess, against Australia in 2019 during the Ashes, and after that he's
Yeah,
making a comeback. And he was preferred over Saqib Mahmood, who has shown a great bit of form off late against during the limited over series against Pakistan. So I think that yes, it was a good move. It paid off well because 3 wickets he has gotten, and again, you can keep on talking about Jimmy Anderson, the way he operates, getting the crucial wickets, and the kind of spell that was absolutely a treat for any cricket lover. Him operating with the
Yeah.
Duke's ball is always fun to watch. Not as an Indian fan, of course, but yes, as a cricket appreciator, you will always love him watching to bowl. So I think it was a complete performance. All of the bowlers chipping in properly. Sam Curran wiping out the tail. Overton in the middle order, he got wickets. Anderson did the work with the top order. So I think that any plan that England would have had, I think that they have
Yeah.
almost ticked all of their boxes by the end of day one, and it's going to be a lot of hard work for India in the next couple of days. Also, the fact that now, because the English weather is fickle, we can expect things to happen. You can expect maybe clouds to kind of play a role, and ball to maybe it might start doing something in the morning on the second day,
Yeah. So
which
that's
is where the
crucial.
Indian, yeah, which is where the Indian hopes would now lie, because now the morning session is extremely crucial, because England is now seemingly running away with the match. I mean, 50 to 60 runs more from here, if this partnership could add, it would almost be a position of no return for India. But yes, having said that, one point is that in Headingley, and coincidentally on this day, it was Ben Stokes' knock of 135, which led England to win against Australia, and that was the same match where England was bowled out for 67. So as I said in the pre-show, cricket's a funny game, and you can really not expect anything. So I won't be too surprised. And going by what has happened, see in this game, the tables have turned
Yeah.
entirely. The Indian top order was firing really well. Now suddenly the English top order is firing, and they have gotten the runs. New look pair, new openers coming in, but firing. England was collapsing again and again, and they have had the reputation. Today, India has collapsed. So I think that tables have turned quickly, but I don't write off India just yet, because this is just the day one, and 4 days of cricket is too much. We have seen strange things happening in Test cricket, and I feel that that can any day happen, even in this game.
Right, and I think that's a great way to be wrapping up. What the third Test match day one was looking like, because of the fact that, of course, England was, like we said, they clearly outshined today. But like Pratyay said, you never know what's going to be happening. Especially another aspect of looking at it is the weather condition that will, of course, be affecting the game tomorrow as well. I see a lot of you having mixed reactions. Some of you are supporting Team India. Some of you feel that England is definitely going to be winning this one. Now, whether that's going to be happening or not, we will have to wait and watch. But on that note, I want to thank Pratyay for coming on the show, and for everybody for joining us for this quick session. We will see you tomorrow, of course, discussing everything to do with the third Test match. So do not go anywhere, and we'll see you tomorrow only on CricTracker.